I'm Adam Collins. This is Crickbuzz Centre Stage at the Hampshire Bowl, where behind me England have had a most comfortable 8-wicket win over the West Indies, chasing the 213 they required for victory in just 33.1 overs. But it has been at a fairly significant cost. Jason Roy, the most dynamic opener, hurt a hamstring, his left hamstring, which has been troublesome throughout the course of the English summer, the start of it in any case, while they were fielding. And then Owen Morgan, the captain, had a bad back spasm, so bad that neither of them elected to bat. They shuffled the order. They did it easy, an unbeaten century from Joe Root, a beautiful 100, his 16th in one-day international cricket. But the real news is off the field, so much so that Owen Morgan in his post-match press conference stood up and held the microphone rather than sitting down as is the custom. And here was the England captain Owen Morgan talking about the risk assessment they'll do over the next couple of days with his back and Roy's hamstring before we find out when they'll play again.
When any two players go down, it is a little bit of a worry, but I don't think we're not at panic stations or anything yet. We'll just see how we get on in the next 48 hours and go from there. I don't know. We'll, like everybody, we'll have to see how it pulls up. Particularly probably with myself and Jason, maybe a couple of the bowlers, do a risk assessment as to see how risky it is going into that game. Bear in mind we'd have 2 games quite short space.
It really was a victory set up by the England bowlers. Owen Morgan elected to insert the West Indies first, and England took consistent wickets. At one stage, the West Indies were 55 for 3 and well behind the game. They then put on 89, the young guns, Pooran and Hetmeyer, put on 89 for the loss of the 4th wicket. But after that, the last 7 wickets fell for just 107. They were nowhere near good enough. They were all out in the 45th over for just 212. For England's part, Jofra Archer, Mark Wood blew away the lower half of the order. Other wicket takers all the way through the list, starting with Chris Wokes at the top, who bowled a beautiful first spell to get them rolling. So England are in really good nick with 3 wins now. Of course, they lost to Pakistan last week at Trent Bridge, but they beat Bangladesh. They beat, of course, South Africa in the tournament opener, and now they've knocked off the West Indies, which they would have seen as a bit of a danger game before the tournament, given the closeness of their bilateral series back in January and February over in the Caribbean. As for the West Indies, they were, well, dreadful. There was really nothing positive to point to today, apart from perhaps Pooran's first half century in limited overs cricket. He looked good and classy before he was cramped up by Jofra Archer. With the ball, they never penetrated. They never looked like picking up Joe Root or Johnny Bairstow early. Bairstow made 40-odd, as did Chris Wokes, walking in at number 3 after that order reshuffle we talked about before. It was all about Joe Root, as I mentioned at the start. 16 one-day hundreds now. He batted so gracefully in the first 10 overs. A handful of those cover drives were absolutely to die for. There was no way at that stage West Indies had any avenue back into the game. And for their part, they do get Bangladesh in their next start. But Bangladesh, of course, beat them in a tri-series in Ireland just a few weeks ago before the World Cup. That's far from an easy game for them. They've only notched up 1 victory in their games so far in the tournament. So it's not quite last chance cafe, but they'll be heading in that direction unless they can turn it around against Bangladesh and gain some momentum in the back half of the group stages. But Jason Holder, for his part, he's remaining upbeat, believing that they've got the talent. They just can't find a way to put it together on the same day at the moment.
I think we would be very foolish not to be confident. You know, there's still a lot of cricket to be played in this tournament. We've only played 4 games and hell of a lot of cricket left to be played. You know, we've just got to be disciplined and make sure that we come against Bangladesh firstly, against in our next game, and make sure we beat Bangladesh.
In terms of other colour and movement from the West Indies side today, Andre Russell has serious injury problems with his knees. After 2 balls today, he was hobbling around. He only got through 2 overs. He also seemed to hurt his wrist when batting. Chris Gale didn't make runs today, but he certainly kept the audience entertained, getting through some quite useful off-spin, including bowling in his cap. Some people can get away with it. Chris Gale can, but it didn't matter. Today, England were victorious by 8 wickets. They did it easy. It wasn't a particularly good game of cricket. The real talking point, can Roy and Morgan get back for the second half of the tournament? We'll find out. We'll be here, of course, throughout on Crickbuzz Centre Stage. Adam Collins, I'll talk to you tomorrow from the Oval.